The presence of danger can also wear a woman's face. From their calculated cunning to their relentless ruthlessness, these dangerous women possess an undeniable ability to shape the world to their whims, peer beneath the surface, and uncover the hidden depths of these formidable femmes fatales. Angie Clemente, Valencia, alias Narco Queen, Cocaine Queen. The line between glamour and crime blurs in the story of Angie Clemente Valencia, a former Colombian beauty queen model turned drug lord. Originally from Colombia, she won the Reinado National Del Cafe beauty pageant in 2000, but was stripped of her title when it was discovered that she was married. After her dethroning, Angie ventured into the dark underworld, forming her own drug cartel. She recruited other models to become unsuspecting drug mules. These unsuspicious, beautiful angels, as she referred to them, were paid up to $5,000 per trip to transport cocaine from Argentina to England via Cancun. In 2009, Angie's empire faced exposure when a 21-year-old woman known as Ariel L. was arrested at Ezeiza International Airport in Buenos Aires with a suitcase containing 55 kilograms of cocaine. Ariel L.'s confession resulted in the arrest of 6 individuals and named Angie as the ringleader of the drug smuggling operation. After 5 months on the run, Angie was finally arrested in Buenos Aires. Initially imprisoned in the Centro Federal de Detención de Mujeres Unidad Número 31 in Argentina, she was later moved to the Instituto Correccional de Mujeres Unidad Número 3 after suffering violent attacks. Eventually, she was released from prison after serving only half of her original 6-year and 8-month sentence. Deported back to Colombia on September 27, 2013, she is forever barred from returning to Argentina. Hacian Silva Tayira, alias Doña Maria. Jaciane Silva. Tayira, known as Donna Maria, among the most wanted people in Bahia, has been exposed as a ruthless drug lord responsible for orchestrating the murders of over 100 individuals. Jaciane allegedly took control of the drug trafficking operation of her partner, Bruno de Jesus Camilo, upon his death, and formed an army of recruits armed with deadly weapons. Her criminal network extended beyond Bahia as she collaborated with other drug traffickers from Rio de Janeiro to seize control of the drug trade in multiple regions. She unleashed violence and chaos as she expanded her criminal empire, leaving a trail of destruction in her wake. After becoming one of the most wanted people in Bahia, and after a relentless manhunt, she was apprehended in Sao Paulo, Brazil, marking the end of her reign of terror. Her arrest came with a slew of charges, including robbery, drug trafficking, corrupting minors, arms trafficking, and forgery. But the most chilling aspect of her crimes was her alleged involvement in ordering the murders of numerous victims, including a correctional officer in Jerique prison. Rafaela Dalterio. Rafaela Dalterio, a mafia godmother who led a notorious criminal clan, and her nickname that sends shivers down the spines of her adversaries? The Big Female Kitten. After her husband Nicola Pianese met a tragic demise at the hands of rival gangs, she fearlessly assumed control of the clan. Armed officers equipped with helicopters and sniffer dogs orchestrated a series of daring dawn raids, resulting in Rafaela's arrest along with a staggering 65 other suspects. Among the seized items was a blazing red Ferrari boasting a solid gold number plate, a lavish gift bestowed upon the lucky recipient, Rafaela's daughter Caterina. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The police also discovered a jaw-dropping £10 million worth of cars and properties, showcasing the extravagant lifestyle enjoyed by her and her clan. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that Rafaela and her family were no strangers to high-stakes adventures. They would regularly whisk themselves away to the glamorous playground of Monte Carlo, where they indulged in extravagant shopping sprees. It seems the allure of the criminal underworld blended seamlessly with a taste for the finer things in life. Ana Marie Hernandez, alias La Muñeca, branded as the sexiest drug trafficker in the world, beauty and luxury masked Ana Marie Hernandez's dark dealings in the realm of drug trafficking. Adorned with fine features and extravagant tastes, she earned the moniker La Muñeca. Ana Marie's journey into the illicit world began when she married a Customs and Border Protection Inspector, Daniel Ledesma. Operating discreetly, she distributed narcotics across major U.S. cities such as Chicago, Miami, St. Louis, and others, leveraging her beauty and high society image to evade suspicion. However, her clandestine activities came crashing down when her husband was apprehended and pleaded guilty in 2010. Undeterred, La Muñeca sought new alliances, even romantically entwined with El Chapo himself. Ana Marie was arrested in 2015 in Chihuahua, Mexico. After 3 years, she was extradited to the United States. Ultimately, Ana Marie faced justice, receiving a lengthy prison sentence for her involvement in drug trafficking and bribery. Sandra Avila Beltran, alias Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Avila Beltran was born into the notorious Beltran-Leyva cartel, one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Mexico. With her family deeply involved in the drug trade, Sandra quickly became entangled in their operations. Her rise in the drug world was attributed to her relationship with Juan Diego Espinoza Ramirez, aka the Tiger, a significant figure in the Colombian Norte del Valle cartel. Sandra was so good at being under the radar, but in 2002, Sandra contacted the authorities when her teenage son was kidnapped for a ransom of $5 million. She managed to secure her son's release, but her involvement raised suspicions and triggered an investigation into her activities. It took more than 4 years and the efforts of 30 federal agents to finally apprehend Sandra and Espinoza Ramirez. They were arrested in Mexico City on September 28, 2007. Sandra faced charges of money laundering for billions of dollars worth of drugs smuggled from Colombia to Mexico. In August 2012, Sandra was extradited to the United States and flown to Florida to face charges of cocaine possession and trafficking. Sandra pled guilty to being an accessory after the fact to the crime of drug trafficking in April 2013. She was sentenced to 70 months in federal prison, with credit for time served. After her release from the U.S. Bureau of Prisons, she was handed over to ICE custody for administrative deportation to Mexico. Upon her arrival in Mexico, Sandra was immediately arrested on money laundering charges in August 2013. She received an additional 5-year prison sentence and a fine. In total, Sandra spent 7 years in prison, including 2 years in isolation. She was eventually released in 2015. Blanca Margarita Cazares Salazar, alias the Empress of Narco. Blanca Margarita Cazares Salazar, known as the Empress of Narco, started her career as a dollar exchanger, catering to workers in the opium and marijuana fields in Culiacan, Sinaloa. Her success in the exchange business enabled her to expand her empire into other ventures, including a chain of cosmetics and accessory stores such as Oro Verde, which paved the way for the opening of the widely recognized Casa de Cambio Cazares and several branches. However, her reputation took a dramatic turn when the United States Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, identified her as one of the most wanted individuals involved in money laundering for the Sinaloa cartel, headed by Ismael Zambada Garcia and Joaquin Guzman Loera, also known as El Chapo. The Cazares Salazar network, comprising Blanca Margarita, her husband Arturo Meza Gaspar, and their children Gypsy, Lisbeth, and Arturo Meza Cazares, operated various businesses involved in money laundering. These included customs agencies, foreign exchange companies, a real estate consortium, among others. According to the DEA, she had connections to 19 companies involved in the money laundering network associated with the cartel's drug sales. Indrana Arellano Felix. Indrana Arellano Felix de Toledo, born into a family of drug traffickers, emerged as a powerful figure in the criminal world. Witnessing her brother's involvement, she eventually joined forces with them to establish the infamous Tijuana cartel. While her brothers initially led the organization, Indrana played a pivotal role behind the scenes, managing money laundering and financial operations. However, in 2000, after a key arrest, she stepped into the forefront, taking control of the cartel. Under Indrana's leadership, the Tijuana cartel adopted a more business-oriented approach, ensuring the survival of the Tijuana cartel. Operating discreetly, she maintained alliances and navigated the treacherous landscape of the criminal underworld. Building strategic alliances, she became the financial brain and a symbol of power and resilience by breaking gender barriers. Indrana's enigmatic persona continues to captivate law enforcement agencies and the public. As she operates in the shadows, her story represents the complexities of power, loyalty, and ambition in the world of crime. The Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the Mexican media identify Indrana as the first and one of the few women to lead a criminal organization in the world. Mireya Moreno Carreon. Veronica Mireya Moreno Carreon, also known as La Flaca, made history as the first known female boss of the Zetas drug gang in San Nicolas de los Garza, Mexico. Mireya's criminal activities extended beyond drug trafficking, with her involvement in various organized crime operations further cementing her reputation as a dangerous and influential figure. As the leader of the Zetas in San Nicolas de los Garza, Mireya oversaw a territory known for its drug trafficking operations. She played played a pivotal role in orchestrating the distribution of narcotics, including cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. Under her leadership, the Zetas engaged in ruthless acts of violence and intimidation to maintain their dominance, like kidnappings, extortion, and assassination. Her capture marked a significant blow to the Zetas and their criminal network. The arrest not only exposed Mireya's crimes, but also disrupted the illicit operations of the Zetas in San Nicolas de los Garza. Authorities seized significant quantities of drugs, weapons, and assets connected to her criminal empire, dismantling a key pillar of the Zetas' power structure. Jessica Oseguera. Jessica Johanna Oseguera Gonzalez, known as La Negra, has been sentenced to 30 months in prison for her involvement in illicit financial dealings tied to her father's notorious CJN drug cartel. Living a lavish life in Guadalajara, Mexico, Oseguera Gonzalez violated the law by engaging in transactions with businesses already sanctioned by the U.S. Department of the Treasury. With dual citizenship, Oseguera Gonzalez thought she could outsmart the authorities and continue her life of power and wealth. However, her luck ran out as she became entangled in the web of justice in February 2020. On March 14, 2023, she was released after serving 25 months at a low-security federal prison in Dublin. Ching Chi Ping, alias Sister Ping. Who would have thought that a woman such as Sister Ping will be declared as one of the first and ultimately most successful human smugglers of all time? Ching Chi Ping built an empire around the illicit trade of human trafficking, particularly of Chinese immigrants seeking a better life in America. She established herself as a revered figure in Chinatown, known for her philanthropic efforts and for providing assistance to the immigrant community. She carried out her operations through a complex network of contacts and connections spanning continents. Her connections reached even the highest levels of government and law enforcement, allowing her to evade capture for many years. The legal pursuit of Sister Ping spanned several years, with her arrest and subsequent release in China, where she continued her business. However, in 2000, she was apprehended in Hong Kong and extradited to the United States. Following a jury trial, she was convicted in 2005 on multiple counts, including conspiring to commit illegal human smuggling, hostage-taking, money laundering, and trafficking in ransom proceeds. Ping was sentenced to 35 years in prison. The U.S. Department of Justice revealed that she had amassed an estimated fortune of approximately $40 million. Throughout her imprisonment, Ping's health deteriorated. She passed away in April 2014 at the Federal Medical Center in Texas. Her funeral drew thousands of mourners, and she was laid to rest at Kensico Cemetery in New York. Clara Elena Laborin Archuleta, alias La Señora Osiris. The rise and transformation of the BLO, Beltran Leyva Organization cartel, held Mexico's criminal underworld in its grasp. Founded by four brothers, Arturo El Barba, Hector El Ingeniero, Alfredo El Mochomo, and Carlos, the cartel operated within the larger federation led by infamous figures like El Chapo and El Mayo Zambada. A series of unfortunate events that happened to the BLO caused a rupture with the federation, leading to a decline in the BLO's power. The arrest of one brother, El Mochomo, the killing of El Barbas by federal forces,
also took the life of perhaps the country's most powerful drug kingpin, Arturo Beltran Leyva,
the capture of Carlos, and the demise of Hector later on. The cartel seemed on the verge of fragmentation until an unexpected figure emerged, Clara Elena Laborin Archuleta, the wife of Hector. Clara, a former beauty queen, had connections in the entertainment industry, but was accused of money laundering for the BLO by the U.S. Treasury Department. In 2010, Clara was kidnapped and later found with a chilling message, allegedly as revenge from the Sinaloa cartel. Despite the challenges, Clara actively engaged in the cartel's business, earning respect from various criminal groups. Clara managed to sustain BLO operations by forging alliances with groups such as Los Zetas, CJN, and the Juarez cartel. But her reign came to an end in 2016 when she was arrested, leaving behind a legacy of power struggles and intense rivalries in the Mexican criminal underworld. Edith Lopez, alias La Reina del Sur. Edith Lopez was a former associate of El Vaquero, the cowboy, a notorious drug lord in the city. After his arrest, Edith allegedly took control of the drug business, but was eventually apprehended herself and faced prosecution for crimes related to public health. In a major operation led by the State Attorney General's office, Edith was arrested along with two accomplices. The investigative team seized a substantial amount of evidence, including cash, drugs, and mobile phones. The arrest prompted an investigation by the Specialized specialized agency for drug-dealing crimes. The Attorney General's office revealed that Edith's criminal organization had expanded its operations across the municipality of Querétaro. Emma Coronel Aispuro. Emma Modesta Coronel's life took a dangerous turn when she became entangled with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, one of history's most notorious drug lords. Their connection led to a rapid ascent into a world of crime and luxury. However, her dangerous path took a dramatic turn when she was arrested at Dulles International Airport in 2021. Accused of aiding Guzman's escape from prison through bribery and orchestrating a failed second escape attempt, Emma faced grave charges. The evidence against her, including a handwritten letter from Guzman and testimonies from former associates, painted a picture of her involvement in his illicit activities.
The wife of notorious Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for her role in helping his Sinaloa drug cartel.
While some speculated about voluntary surrender, Coronel's time in jail was far from glamorous. Confined to a small cell, she yearned for the days when danger and excitement defined her life. Her loyalty to Guzman remained steadfast as she stood by him during his high-profile trial, facing media scrutiny with unwavering support. Now serving a prison sentence and awaiting release in September 2023, Coronel's dangerous reputation precedes her. Her involvement with El Chapo and the criminal world has labeled her as a dangerous figure in her own right. The world watches with anticipation as she prepares to write the next chapter of her life, wondering what dangers lie ahead. Elizabeth Barrere. Elizabeth Barrere was a fugitive queenpin wanted in the U.S. since 2007 on drug and money laundering charges. Barrere had fled the U.S. after being indicted on narcotics-related charges, and law enforcement had been searching for her ever since. In a shocking incident, her body was discovered in Montreal, Canada, slumped in a rented car with fake identification. Elizabeth's death prompted a joint investigation by the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Marshal Service, and Montreal Police. The circumstances of her death suggest a likely connection to drug trafficking. Montreal police confirmed her U.S. citizenship through DNA and fingerprint evidence and reached out to American authorities. This dramatic turn of events highlights the far-reaching nature of criminal networks and the persistence of law enforcement agencies in pursuing fugitives involved in illicit activities. Griselda Blanco.
If she was not one of the most prolific traffickers in the Miami area, she clearly was one of the more violent.
Griselda Blanco Restrepo, a notorious figure in the drug trade, was immersed in a life of danger and crime. From an early age, she displayed a propensity for violence, engaging in activities like kidnapping and pickpocketing. In the mid-1970s, she capitalized on her criminal inclinations and established a massive cocaine empire in the United States. Griselda's involvement in the Miami drug war earned her a fearsome reputation. She controlled a vast distribution network that raked in a staggering $80 million per month, fueling the violent conflicts that plagued Miami during that era. Her ruthless tactics and involvement in drug-related violence solidified her status as a dangerous and feared figure. In 1985, she was arrested by the DEA, convicted on drug conspiracy charges, and sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Her subsequent legal battles, including murder charges in Florida, resulted in mixed outcomes due to technicalities. Eventually, in 1998, she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received a 20-year sentence. Despite her dark past, there was a glimmer of redemption. Blanco's son, Michael Corleone Blanco, faced the repercussions of her criminal lifestyle, losing his father and siblings and enduring his mother's absence during his formative years. However, he chose a different path, seeking to break free from the cycle of violence. After his own involvement in criminal activities, Michael turned his life around and strived to redeem himself, distancing himself from his family's criminal legacy. He has appeared in documentaries, sharing his experiences and shedding light on the dangers of that world. In his pursuit of a different future, he has established a clothing brand called Puro Blanco. While Griselda's life was marked by violence and criminality, her son's journey toward redemption offers a glimmer of hope, illustrating the possibility of breaking free from the grip of a dangerous past. According to Michael, his mother later became a born-again Christian. Jemiker Thompson. Jemiker Thompson Hairston became a notorious figure during the 1980s crack epidemic, operating a vast cocaine network in south-central Los Angeles. Her drive for wealth began after witnessing her mother's eviction, leading her to sell large quantities of cocaine while still in high school. She married Anthony Daff Mosley and expanded into the crack trade, building a lucrative empire. Tragedy struck when Daff was murdered, but instead of quitting, Jemiker grew her operation, recruiting dealers nationwide and forging connections with Colombian cocaine producers. producers. Suspicions of money laundering arose as she ran a hair distribution business alongside her illicit activities. The downfall came when her partner, Percy Cheese Bratton, was caught with kilos of cocaine and cooperated with authorities. Jemiker was arrested at her son's graduation and charged with drug conspiracy and money laundering. She served 12 years of a 15-year sentence. In prison, she underwent a transformative journey, embracing Christianity. Upon release, Thompson Hairston founded Second Chance Evangelical Ministries. Her memoir, Queen Pin, co-written with David Ritz, chronicles her experiences during the crack epidemic. Her story was featured in the Netflix series Drug Lords and the A&E series Gangsters, America's Most Evil. Thompson Hairston's redemption and ministry work was showcased on the Christian Broadcasting Network's program, The 700 Club. Her life exemplifies the power of transformation and the pursuit of second chances. Thelma Wright. After her husband's murder, Thelma Wright chose to enter the Philadelphia drug trade. Rising to prominence in the city's drug distribution network, she earned nicknames like Boss Lady and Queen Pen. However, the dangers and lack of a future in the drug game eventually led her to make a life-altering decision. In 1991, Thelma left the drug trade for good, choosing to work for a nonprofit organization supporting women dealing with addiction and mental health issues. After years of silence, she published her memoir in 2011, providing an honest account of her life in the drug trade and her decision to leave it behind. Now an advocate against drugs, Thelma uses her experiences to educate others about the dangers and futility of getting involved in the criminal world. Focused on helping others and making a positive impact, she reflects on her past with regret, but also as a reminder of her own strength and resilience. Thelma's journey serves as a testament to personal transformation and the possibility of leaving behind a life of crime to make a positive difference in the lives of others. Julia Diaco. Julia Diaco, dubbed the Pot Princess, recently made headlines for her daring drug-dealing escapades. At just 18 years old, she was caught in a clandestine operation peddling drugs to undercover officers right from her NYU dorm room. The audacity and brazenness of her actions were astounding, given the potential consequences. An intimidating 25-year prison sentence loomed over her head. However, fate took an unexpected turn for Diaco. Instead of being locked away behind bars, she managed to secure an astonishing deal: 5 years of probation. How did she achieve such an incredible feat? By completing a drug rehab and education program, she seemingly found a way to avoid the harsh consequences of her illicit activities. Luz Irena Fajardo Campos. With her ties to El Chapo Guzman and the Sinaloa cartel, Luz Irene Fajardo Campos became a prominent figure. Her aliases La Madrina and La Henca were earned through daring drug shipments to the U.S., personally acquiring cocaine from Colombia for smuggling. Her organization provided significant income to the Sinaloa cartel, using planes to transport drugs and operating a methamphetamine lab. Tragedy struck when her 2 children were brutally murdered as a warning to discourage her cooperation with U.S. authorities. Her association with Guzman and knowledge of the Sinaloa cartel made her a prime target. Her activities were monitored through text messages on an old cell phone. In 2017, she was arrested in Colombia. Luz pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking charges, but was sentenced to 22 years in prison. In addition to prison, she faces supervised release and an $18 million fine. Marjorie Chacon Russell. Marjorie Chacon Russell, the Queen of the South, was a prominent drug trafficker embroiled in a gripping saga of power, betrayal, and redemption. She supplied Mexican cartels with vast quantities of cocaine until her empire was infiltrated by the DEA. Sensing the mounting pressure, Chacon made a daring move and turned herself in, shocking her associates and rivals. Now, this bold move made her more dangerous than ever to other dangerous criminals. Behind bars, Chacon collaborated with the DEA, divulging critical information about her operations and exposing high-level traffickers and corrupt officials. As her trial approached, rumors of a deadly threat against her life added further suspense. Extraordinary security measures were taken to protect her during the trial, where she unveiled the dark underbelly of the drug trade and implicated powerful criminals. After pleading guilty, Chacon received a reduced sentence for her cooperation, striking fear into her former allies and leading to significant arrests. Even in prison, she continued to assist law enforcement agencies, becoming a symbol in the fight against drug trafficking and corruption. As her sentence ended, Chacon's release marked a new chapter. The world eagerly anticipated her next steps, curious to see the path she would choose. Some hailed her as a hero, while others questioned her motives. Her story ignited hope for justice and spurred international collaboration in the battle against organized crime. Mary Valencia. Born in poverty in Cali, Colombia, Mary Valencia de Ortiz, also known as La Señora, became a prominent figure in the Cali cartel. With charisma and resourcefulness, she climbed the ranks and expanded her empire to Miami. Valencia orchestrated a massive operation using her hair salons as fronts for drug trafficking. Behind the facade, she maintained an intricate network of cash houses. Her enterprise generated over $180 million annually, distributing 12,000 kilograms of cocaine at its peak. Law enforcement noticed Valencia's extravagant lifestyle, leading to her dramatic arrest in Rio de Janeiro in 1997. She had undergone plastic surgery and carried multiple passports. Extradited to the U.S., she faced trial and received a life sentence in 1999. Valencia's release in 2012 surprised the world, and her current whereabouts remain unknown. Michaela McCollum Connolly and Melissa Reed. In the summer of 2013, the world was captivated by the shocking arrest of two young women, Michaela McCollum and Melissa Reed, at Jorge Chávez International Airport in Lima, Peru. It all began innocently enough, or so they claimed. On that fateful day in August, airport authorities discovered a staggering 12 kilograms, 26 pounds of cocaine concealed in the luggage of McCollum and Reed. The shocking revelation left everyone stunned, and the duo soon found themselves facing the grim reality of a Peruvian prison. Initially, the young women insisted that they had been coerced into carrying the drugs by an armed gang.
I was forced to take these bags in my luggage.
But as the case unfolded, their story took a different turn. McCollum and Reed eventually pleaded guilty to the charges leveled against them, and on December 17, 2013, they received a sentence of 6 years and 8 months behind bars. Their case gained significant media attention and sparked debates about drug smuggling and its consequences. The Channel 4 documentary, Brits Behind Bars, Cocaine Smugglers, shed light on their training and methods as drug mules. Despite their circumstances, McCollum and Reed sought personal growth while incarcerated, obtaining training in beauty therapy. McCollum was released on parole in 2016, but had to remain in Peru, while Reed was expelled from the country and returned to the UK. Their crimes and subsequent experiences serve as a cautionary tale, highlighting the risks and severe penalties associated with drug smuggling. The Peru 2 story continues to fascinate and serves as a reminder of the lasting impact of risky decisions in pursuit of adventure and quick gains. Melissa Margarita Calderon Ojeda. Melissa Margarita Calderon Ojeda, known as La China, is a feared figure in Mexico's drug trade. Born in 1984, she joined the Sinaloa cartel in 2005 and eventually became the leader of the Damaso cartel, a powerful faction within the organization. A rival cartel leader known as El Grande had her forcibly removed from her position and executed her first boyfriend, Eric Davalos von Borstel, as a brutal display of power. Fueled by vengeance, Melissa found solace in the arms of her second boyfriend, Hector Pedro Camarena Gomez, also known as El Chino. Together, they formed a formidable force known as Las Fuerzas Especiales de los Damaso, or the Special Forces of Los Damaso. Under Melissa's leadership, Las Fuerzas unleashed a wave of violence and chaos, engaging in an internal war against El Grande and his supporters. Their reign of terror led to numerous outbreaks of violence in La Paz and left a trail of bloodshed in their wake. It is believed that Melissa is responsible for over 150 murders, cementing her reputation as a cold-blooded and ruthless operative. The law eventually caught up with Melissa on September 20th, 2015, when she was apprehended at the Cabo San Lucas International Airport while attempting to board a flight to Culiacan. The authorities swiftly placed her in custody, where she currently resides in the formidable confines of Federal Social Readaptation Center No. 1. Simone Farrow. Former Penthouse model Simone Farrow has been sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for her significant role in a crystal meth smuggling operation that targeted Australia. Farrow was found guilty by the Sydney District Court of orchestrating the illegal drug trade and using her music and modeling business employees to facilitate the operation. The court heard that she derived substantial income from the enterprise, engaging in communication with customers, generating invoices, and employing false names and addresses. Farrow's involvement in the drug smuggling operation was revealed during the trial, with prosecutors accusing her of being a drug kingpin. Despite her claims of innocence and being deceived by her employees, the court concluded that she played a principal role in the illicit trade. Judge David Arnott highlighted Farrow's influential position and use of her modeling image as a cover for her illegal activities. The court also learned about Farrow's lavish lifestyle, funded by the proceeds of the drug trade. She had substantial sums of money in her bank accounts, underscoring her lucrative involvement in the criminal enterprise. Virginia Hill. Virginia Hill, an intriguing figure in organized crime, was deeply involved in a range of illicit activities during her association with the Chicago outfit and her relationship with mobster Bugsy Siegel. Virginia's criminal endeavors were as captivating as they were daring. Her role as a courier was crucial to the organized crime network, where she skillfully passed messages between mob members, acting as a clandestine link in their operations. Virginia's ability to gather valuable intelligence on rival gangs and law enforcement made her an invaluable asset to the Chicago outfit. She also became a mistress to several influential mobsters, including the notorious Joe Adonis. Yet, as with many criminal enterprises, her actions eventually caught up with her. Hill faced an indictment for income tax evasion, which prompted her to flee to Europe, where she spent the rest of her days.